Hi everyone, my name is Rich Andrews and I love Conshohocken. Not only does Conshohocken have a rich history, but it's well known in the Philadelphia area for its great location, thriving industry, and its different restaurants. But what really makes this town are the people who live here. Take a moment to hear what they have to say.
I'm Steve Moyer. I've lived in West Conshohocken for 11 years.
I'm Teresa Moyer, and I've lived here for 13 years.
My name is Peter Groffney, and I live right up the hill in West Conshohocken.
Pat Sapien. I lived here till 1971.
My name is David Markland. I'm Assistant Chief with the George Clay Fire Company.
My name's Rick Canna. How you doing?
Great to meet you.
Yeah, I grew up in this town.
I'm Brad.
I'm Megan.
Been married for two and a half years now, and we live right down the road in Conshohocken.
Bernie Corus, and live on Marion Avenue, a couple houses up. Moved here in '96.
The thing I like about West Conshohocken is the best thing is it still feels like a small town neighborhood.
Jack Cole, Conshohocken. Been here for the past going on 40 years, I guess, and been a pleasure in Conshohocken. Raised our children here, and it's a good, solid community to be in, particularly if you're raising children. So,
I'm one of those children. I'm Brian Cole. I have a sister, Jackie Cole. We grew up right up the street here, and Jackie actually bought the childhood house we grew up in. We're at 324 Fayette Street right now, which is a frame shop right on Fayette Street. And we love it here. It's great.
well, Conshohocken is a derivative of a number of Indian names that came about when the Lenape Indians basically lived down on the waterfront along the Schuylkill River. They called it the Pleasant Valley because actually with the hills of West Conshohocken and the hills of Conshohocken both leading to the river, it was a pleasant valley for them. It was a great place for them to be living. So Pleasant Valley is the primary naming of the town because Pleasant Valley in the Indian tongue would have been pronounced Conshohocken, meaning Pleasant Valley. Other meanings have popped up along the way, along fine land and Schuylkill town or river town and so on. But the meaning that best sums it up and the meaning best accepted by historians today is that Conshohocken means Pleasant Valley.
We're a river town. Your transportation was the river, your food source was the river. Not only did you drink the river water, but your animals came to the water to get their own water. So when you talk about the Indians hunting, they didn't have to go far. There were plentiful deer here. They went right down to the water to drink. So people that may have worked in Philadelphia saw Conshohocken as a place that they could kind of make their own, and started coming out here to develop. And long before the condos, there were factories and mills and plants, and they put a lot of people to work. So that kept the town growing. The more manufacturing jobs that opened up, the more people came here and made it their own. It really started as a, pretty much village on the river and grew from there.
Well, it obviously went from an industrial town to a corporate town. We're one of the few successful communities in the country to make the transition. Most all of your river towns were mill towns, steel towns, and very, very blue-collar, working-oriented, working families. The husband was the breadwinner, and the wife stayed at home and raised the kids, and so on and so forth. And families for generations made their living off of these mills, off of these steel plants. And following World War II, you know, the old saying is, America won the war, but Japan won the peacetime, because Japan really came forward in a time of manufacturing, particularly steel. And with that in mind, the fact that you could now get steel cheaper in Japan, it put a lot of steel mills in this country out of business. So with Japan coming in particularly throughout the 1950s and early 60s, it damaged an industry here in the United States. And that forced us into to become a ghost town. I mean, it's kind of like the old mining towns, you know. When we could no longer make steel along the river, we no longer had jobs. And when we didn't have jobs, nobody wanted to be here. And every shop owner who made their living from these steel workers were now out of business because we didn't have the steel workers. So it put this town into a heavy decline. We were blessed in the 1960s and 70s to have people who could foresee what our future was. And they went to work on this back in the early 60s. It took them a lot of years. It took them a quarter of a century to get us to where we are. But they foresaw the future. They knew what we had to do, and they went out and did it. They didn't wait for somebody else to do it for them. We had some great people, names that'll be long forgotten. Joe Burns, Jerry McTamaney, Jerry Nugent. These are people that stepped up to the plate and said, this is what we need to do, and they did it. So you walk down Fayette Street today saying, what a wonderful town. It wasn't always like that. It wasn't always like that. The thing Conshohocken has going for it that perhaps other neighborhoods or communities didn't, location. And Conshahocken's location happens to sit on the Schuylkill Expressway, the Blue Route, minutes from 422, minutes from the Pennsylvania Turnpike. On a good day, 15 minutes from the Philadelphia International Airport, which will take you anywhere in the world, okay? 15 minutes to Center City, Philadelphia, where they obviously do business throughout the world from their city offices. So we're not, I don't know that we were anointed to be a special town as much as we happen to be in the right place at the right time, so. I think you have a split demographic. You, like most older communities in particular, you have that split screen thing where half the residents in this town are old-time / long-time residents, and the other half of them residents are of the younger variety, the new people, the incoming. It's one of them towns where if you're a new person coming into town, you'll always be that new person. You'll never be a Conshahockenite. And it's just the nature of people, you know what I mean? So you can be here for the next 40 years and you'll never be a Conshohocken person. So while it is a split town, young and old, I think the majority of the older people do and will welcome the young people. Listen, it's a never-ending cycle of young people coming in and growing old, and you continually have to understand that we're either going to move forward with the young people or you're going to be left behind. So the opportunities here to move in are tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to pick one thing you love about Conshohocken. There's just so many great things here. You know, we look out our window every day. We're fortunate to be right on Fayette Street. You know, we see young families walking to and from school and the library. You know, there's a crossing guard, waves hi to every single person that walks by. You know, I love that I get to work here every day, and then if I want to go out to dinner, I can walk to one of 20-some restaurants in the area. We have award-winning chefs that have come to Conshohocken and opened up. We also got to give credit to homegrown people like Vincent Terra, who opened up his own restaurant here where he could have went anywhere, you know, and he wanted to do it here where he grew up. So, you know, it's really a nice place to be with so many great things to talk about. It, you know, we could fill up the whole film, you know, just talking about the great things of Conshohocken.
excited to be here. One of the reasons I'm really excited to be here is because it's been, next year it'll be 20 years of Santa Claus coming to town.
I remember coming here as a kid myself. I used to come up here. My dad used to bring me up, and Santa Claus came in, and it was just the whole thing, the tradition. Santa on the fire truck, the whole tradition. It holds very true to this town.
As you've seen with the kids' Christmas party today, fire company's involved in that in a big way. It's the auditorium, taking Santa around, and we'll have the town seniors up there. And, our firehouse gets a lot of use here for a small town.
I just can't imagine that you want to live in a town where you do nothing but complain or you're not satisfied with the services. So that would be Conshohocken. You come in, you get involved, and you will forever be proud of the fact that you were part of this community. No doubt about it.